Previously on the Roaming Gomes. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Roaming Gomes. We left you off with us pulling out of Las Cruces, New Mexico, after having one of our favorite meals at Pepe's.
Then we headed to Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas! Not that.
Viva Las Vegas.
It was about a 4.5 hour ride to Las Vegas. And I wouldn't say it was one of the drives for the ages, but it was definitely interesting.
We didn't say this, but it's Las Vegas, New Mexico, not the big Las Vegas.
Right. Not the other Las Vegas. First of all, Google Maps, which is what we use all the time to navigate, wanted to put us on US 54. Originally, Google Maps wanted us to take US 54 this way. We ended up going on I-25. US 54 was where we had the issue coming out of Santa Rosa with snow way back, but we didn't have to worry about snow now, but I just didn't want to go through all local roads. You go on the interstate, you pretty much know what you're getting.
It wanted to do that very badly.
Yeah, and there was almost nothing I could do to stop it. I mean, you know how I'm sure you guys have used it. You have the grayed out route, and then you have the blue route, which is what they want you to take. So you're supposed to be able to just tap on the grayed out route and say that that's the route you want to take, which was I-25 in this case. I did that. And it kept going back to the US 54 route.
Even when we started towards 25, you know how if you're going somewhere and you want to go a different way, it'll reroute you? Or if you miss a turn, it'll reroute you? It wouldn't do that.
It would do that. It would reroute. It would reroute us to go back to US 54. So it got to the point where I actually ended up having to stop at a gas station and say, where is 25? So then finally, when I did get on 25, it said, straight shot. And we had some construction along the way.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you come to expect it when you're on the road all the time. But the problem was, there was this one area of construction, what was it, about 5 miles?
Yeah.
And the interstate was down to 1 lane. Which, not a real big problem because there's not a lot of traffic on I-25.
It wasn't like we were backed up with 18-wheelers or anything.
No. It was me and Cindy and one other car ahead of me.
Yeah.
So it was no big deal driving that, going into the 1 lane, no big deal. The problem was they had those big barrels out, and that was to block off the other 2 lanes. If I wanted to stay on the road, I had to be inches from those barrels. They didn't have the barrels set up on the other side of the dotted line.
They were in our lane.
Right. So, I mean, I did my best. I'm just riding like a tightrope, riding the edge of the road. But they had a couple of barrels that were out of line. And just a little bit further over. And I sent them into the other shoulder. I hit them with the RV, and they literally went flying, man.
Yeah. I was behind him, and I was just glad they went that way and not towards me.
Yeah, I mean, they're plastic barrels. They're not going to really do any damage, and they didn't do any damage. But 2 times I hit barrels that were just a little bit over too much, and 2 times I sent them into the next county.
Well, and you know, those areas were not even where people were working. It was just that elongated area that they always have extra area that's blocked off for safety, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is where we'll be in about half a day.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that was interesting. And I think Cindy hit one too.
I did. I hit the little black ring that goes around it. Just enough to make it turn over. Mine just turned over. It didn't go flying. But
Yeah, I mean, mine got swatted. Anyway, we made it through that. No damage to our rig. Perhaps some damage to their barrels. But, hey, set it up right next time. And then we went up a little ways, and there was more construction. And that was better. They had cones in the road, and none of them were crowding us into our lane, so I didn't hit any of those. But overall, the ride to Las Vegas went pretty smoothly. It was literally a straight shot. You got on 25 and you just stayed on 25.
which is why we wanted to get to 25, because we knew we just stayed on that to get to the next RV park.
One thing I will say, there's not a ton of places to pull off at gas between Las Cruces and Las Vegas. There's a few, and you're not going to have a problem. The road may not have been the greatest. I mean, but there weren't any, sinkhole-sized potholes or any of that. It was a pretty good road.
It seemed like a long day, because that was our longest stretch
Yeah.
for this. But we got there okay.
All the trees and all the green grass. We are about a half hour out from our next stop. Pick you up there. And the park in Las Vegas, the KOA Journey in Las Vegas, New Mexico, is really nice. This is the entryway into the KOA that we're staying at tonight. Little bit of a rough road. Bumpy.
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
It's kind of out in the woods. We compared it to the Allentown KOA Journey in Pennsylvania that we went to. And very similar in size and in being out in the woods. Had some beautiful views from our campsite. I screwed up. We were supposed to be in Site 3. Other KOA journeys and other RV parks that we've been to, they would have a sign or something on the ground indicating what site it was. And if they had a sign, they usually had an arrow pointing towards the actual site. They didn't in Las Vegas. So what I saw as site number 3 was actually site 4.
Yeah. There were several that were empty right beside each other.
Right. So I pulled into site 4. It's a nice site. A little short, but nice site. We got a picnic table and a little swing for 2 and a fire pit. Say hi to Cindy. Which turned out to be a little bit shorter than Site 3 and didn't turn out to be a problem. We were out into the road a little bit with the truck, but even if somebody to my right had wanted to leave, they would have been able to get by. Stayed in Site 4, no problem. And we were out, we were the first ones out. I mean, there was nobody else was leaving when we left.
And up at the office, which is really, they've got a little seating area, like a cafe type thing, where they have coffee, and they have a nice little gift shop. But they also have a breakfast buffet in the morning for $8 a piece. You can't get that anywhere else. You can hardly go to McDonald's for $8 for breakfast.
Yeah.
So that coffee and juice and biscuits and gravy and sausage and eggs and pancakes. She said she would make us pancakes. They had a griddle out, and the lady said she'd make us pancakes if we wanted them, but we were fine with what was
Yeah,
over
we
there.
ended up not having them, but
That was really good.
yeah, it was really nice. It was a nice little buffet. And again, the RV park itself was pretty nice. This is the view from our campsite. Definitely would go back there again, and would go back there for a few days, or even if for some reason you got a contract there. The town of Las Vegas itself.
If you thought of Las Vegas, Nevada, and then thought of the exact opposite, that would be Las Vegas, New Mexico.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. You got this big city, and then you got this little tiny town.
Yeah, very, very, very small town.
But we did find a local place to have some lunch one day.
Little restaurant.
Oh, that day. At Dave's. Dave's Diner?
I think it was.
Yeah. So we're going to try a new place to eat. We're both pretty much to the point of hangry. So we are trying Dave's Diner here in beautiful Las Vegas, New Mexico. And that's pretty good food.
That was pretty good. It's your
Uh,
basic donor food.
Yeah, but and apparently it was the place where all the locals go.
Yeah. It was kind of busy.
Yeah, as people were coming in, it was the hostess, or actually hostess slash server, was saying, "Hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, well," it's like everybody knew everybody. But it was really nice. It was a nice, cute little town. Didn't look like it was really doing that well financially, economically, but no complaints.
Yeah. Especially for one night. It was great. We had everything
Oh, yeah.
we needed. So.
And then the following morning, after breakfast, we were on the road to Pueblo, Colorado. That was our next stop, which is where we're filming this right now. And we got a couple of interesting things coming up in that video. Going through the Raton Pass. But that's what we'll be showing you next week. And until then, I'm Felix.
I'm Cindy.
And we are, he's Bucky.
He's Bucky.
And we are the Roaming Gomes. See you next week.